Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is John Fahey. I am your host. Joining me as ever, prettiest boy under the sun, hypervert, high-functioning pervert, Michelangelo's David Duchovny, Aaron Joseph Pita.
That's me.
Aaron Joseph Pita.
That's me.
What?
The state of California requires me to say the following statement. I am not actually a doctor of perversion, and I am also not a David Duchovny impersonator.
What?
Hi, I'm Aaron.
Yeah.
Now, John, the guy you're about to introduce now, you often refer to him as a Frenchman henchman.
That's exactly right.
And I think tonight it was really, really on display when I saw this gourmand eating a chicken cordon bleu.
Sacre bleu.
And it smelled transcendent.
It tasted great too.
It was heavenly. It was heavenly.
Man,
What a mix.
can't wait for you to fart later.
Me neither.
I love it when you do French shit in front of me.
Oh, God. French kissing, French braids.
We are talking about the
French scissors.
the Frenchman henchman, handsome Matt Brousseau.
Oh, hi.
the
yes.
French tickler.
Oh, that's a good one.
You the French tickler now.
Oh, it's called a mustache, but yes.
You know, they got a lot of French type of shit down in Gator country.
Oh, yeah, the French Quarter.
Yeah, it's actually, I'm reading a book. It's called New France. You know, it's basically one of the enclaves in the United States.
Huh.
New France.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, that whole area.
Really?
Is
you
it
can-
down
you-
there?
And you,
The
add,
bayou?
you combine it with Quebec. And it's kind of
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the gas is rising from the swamp. It's just like the south of France.
just like the South.
Same thing.
France.
It's just like Gaul.
It's just like all.
Gaul.
Very good, Aaron.
Just like-
Very good.
That's a
You
pat
like?
myself on the
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
The Gaul. Man, I love Gallic shit and Gaelic shit.
And garlic.
And they're supposed to be maybe the same, right? Celtic,
Yeah,
French, Irish.
yeah.
There's a conspiracy there.
I wouldn't say that. I'd say just
We left the style behind us, didn't we, boys? We left it on the mainland.
we kept some of the language and some of the eyes, but we
Yeah.
never got any of the good food.
We kept all the insane folklore. There's a giant in the woods.
None of that burdensome cuisine or fastidious fashion.
Lower the expectations.
Yeah.
Under promise and also under deliver, I say.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Aaron.
What?
Because
Swamp?
this profile I will be doing for you boys tonight. You good boys.
Oh, thanks.
It is
Oh.
a classic, stylish, Frenchman, and with the always had a lady on his arm,
Oh.
a la James Bond, for instance. But he was a bit of a troublemaker.
No.
Uh-oh.
That's,
Ne'er-do-well?
He was a ne'er-do-well.
that's like James Bond too.
Yes.
Yeah, you could
What?
say that again, man.
Yeah, always up to no good, huh?
Man.
And we're back.
Oh, boy.
Now, Matt.
Yeah. Yes, John.
The French.
Wait, what is it? What is that?
Oh,
Is that Matthew Barry?
No.
It just sounds like that.
That is Mr. Orson Welles.
Right. The
Drunk with the
my son.
the
French champagne.
Right. He talks about the French, and then he's talking about California.
California.
There is a California champagne.
Paul Masson, what you
Masson.
got a bottle of here.
I know. Yeah.
Fermented in the bottle.
Yeah.
And he is lit up.
Well, me
Oh,
and,
it's
me
great.
and
I
Aaron
think
saw
he died
that
right after.
Me and Aaron saw that Paul Masson on your bar, and we're like, the French.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, what? It's one of the very early, wonderful, classic
Internet blooper type.
internet
thing,
blooper
yeah.
Yeah.
things
Oh, yeah, yeah.
around the same time.
especially
as-
because it's Orson Welles.
He doesn't give a fuck from day one. It's like,
Yeah, he hasn't given a fuck. By that point, he probably hasn't given a fuck in like 50 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, like, just real quick, I'm not gonna get into whatever, but like the paranoia he must have undergone, knowing that Hearst knew he was making a movie about him and had all of that power. You would have to be the young man he was to endure it and not go insane.
Yeah, he only could have done that at 26 or whatever he was.
And then the rest of his career, just like every studio's just destroying his movies.
Yeah. I mean,
editing them. And
I do want to see A Touch of Evil. I hear that's one of his best.
Touch of Evil is great.
You have seen it?
Yeah.
I gotta watch it.
It touched me.
I'd like to listen to the War of the Worlds broadcast unedited in full. How about that?
Oh,
Well-
that's Wells on Wells.
Well,
It is Wells on Wells.
Can't you?
H.G. Wells.
Isn't it live?
H.G. Wells book based.
Yes,
Yeah.
War of the Worlds.
And then-
by
and then-
H.G. Wells
H.
and then adapted into a notorious
Terrifying radio
rendition.
Radio prank, yeah.
play.
So I'd like to listen to it, Matt.
You can.
Is that okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It was live. I don't think it was edited.
None of these people are French.
The aliens are. Who knows?
Yeah, they could be.
Oh, the Conans. We are from France. So we were having a discussion previously. I think that kind of feeds into this, and we were talking about the affluent, not even affluent, but just the people raised without struggle. Aaron,
In our previous conversation.
and we were saying about how
Meaning prior to the recording of the
Prior
podcast.
to the
yes,
show,
and
yes.
we were saying that one can want to manufacture one to feel more alive if they feel like
Or even, I don't even think it's conscious or willful. I think it may be something innate deep within us that is. I think I don't want to say that it's always or definitely deliberate, but I think there is something in the same way that your immune system will do the same thing. If it's not challenged in certain ways early in life, you'll then perhaps get a peanut allergy or something like that.
Sure, yeah.
I'm allergic to bullshit,
yes.
I
I sometimes think it can be somebody feeling as if they don't deserve it, and then they can as in
the goodness,
comfort,
yes,
sustainability,
Yeah,
reliability,
yeah.
all those kinds of things, and they can act out because of it.
yeah.
And the person we're going to talk about is he's in Clichy in France.
Where?
Clichy?
Clichy?
Yeah.
With a C?
Yes. CLICHY. Yes.
Right.
And just at a very young age, he attacked the principal of the school, right? And he was just kind of this wayward youth, and his parents were just kind of like, "What the fuck is going on? like where is this coming from?" And they were seemingly lovingly patient and all that, but it also could be like an Elliot's dad thing,
And I loved little Francois. And Francois loved you.
This is Jacques Mesrine.
How do you
And
spell that?
this is it's a Mesrine.
Got it.
And he would go on to be at this time, where it was, it's you guys know enough that I love that crazy counterculture terrorist phase that Europe went through.
Yeah.
In like the late 70s, we've talked about
Red Brigade.
Red Brigades in Italy.
Baader-Meinhof.
Baader-Meinhof, SPK.
The Socialist Patients Collective.
Socialist patient.
Great episode.
Patient-
Go back and listen to that.
Yeah, that was actually people in an insane asylum being told that society was sick, and they were not.
And the way to fix it is by building bombs.
Yes, and so they were doing that.
They were great
at a publicly funded college. This guy, he starts out kind of different because that whole thing was like, in the same way that the Black Panther Party and the Weather Underground here were all of those terrorist groups were really. It was kind of the same all over the Western world.
Do you consider the Black Panthers a terrorist group?
Well, I mean, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter.
Sure.
We could say paramilitary. I think is the politically neutral.
Got it. I just want to get.
The Black Panther Party is the least terrorist.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Almost all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, the Weather Underground.
Weather Underground actually bombed.
They bombed.
buildings.
Yeah.
Removing the Black Panthers made it possible for more terror to be unleashed. In the
Removing the Black Panthers removed food out of kids' mouths. They set up all these programs for breakfast
and one group that was more like what the Black Panther Party could have been or should have been is the SLA that abducted Patty Hearst. And that
was the Symbionese
Liberation Army.
Not exactly the Symbionese Liberation Army, but that's in my basement.
Oh, right. Yeah. Liberate the Sybians.
Yeah.
But
they're sleeping, John.
Guess you're going to have to wake them up.
So what time period are we talking about here with this Jacques?
We're getting right into that same time period where Andreas Baader is tearing it up in Germany.
Is this like the final generation of kids grew up with leaded gasoline? Is that what this is?
No, dude. The final generation of kids that grew up with leaded gasoline are our parents.
Well, they would be of this generation.
Right.
Well, then, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my dad came to the States in, 77 or something like that.
That was another thing you were talking, I know we're kind of going all over the place, but, with the Freakonomics, abortion, leaded gasoline was another one too.
Leaded gasoline was another thing. Yeah, my friend Chris pointed that out. But in Freakonomics, he really mainly points to just less unwanted children being born and growing up in a system and being unloved as the
or unfed or everything everything.
Yeah, I mean, it's the unloved kid is just always going to lash out and be like,
and they may be loved, but they'll be undereducated, underfunded, underfed, undertrained. I
think oftentimes it's actually specifically, and this is me really putting myself out there, where I'm saying I think love is the actual ingredient that will turn you into a maniac because you feel the absence of it.
Yes,
I think it really is
the movie The Good Son.
The one thing that
Macaulay Culkin.
Well, he was loved. He was just bad.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I listen with this guy.
But he didn't feel it, John. He didn't feel the love.
Yes. That was the equivalent of checking me on the ice. Oh, yeah, like the good son. What?
Because a lot of parents, they can't. The overwhelming biological urge to love the thing that comes out of you is still kind of hard, even if you didn't want it or you couldn't afford it or whatever. You still love it, but you might not be able to.
The kid in the system, and
it's hard to provide them for them adequately,
and it attracts a lot of predatory individuals where they would do the thing where they would get the stipends for each kid, so they would adopt more kids,
or steal kids,
and ignore them all.
Yeah.
So then the kids are just like, okay, well, this is a scam, and what am I supposed to? And just completely directionless. Yeah. This guy did not grow up like that. This guy, for all appearances, grew up in a loving home, and he did see when France was invaded by the Nazis. He saw one time some resistance fighters confront a woman that they were saying was collaborating with the Nazis to find the partisans. And it basically was looking like there was going to be a gang rape situation.
Witch hunt gang rape situation.
Yes. And somebody just led him away. And it was one of the memories he talked about in his autobiography where he was just like, oof. I could not understand why anybody would do anything like this. And so he grows up, he kind of becomes, a little bit more of a wayward youth and, getting into trouble. And then suddenly he is conscripted to go to Algeria. And in Algeria...
Northern Africa.
Yes, the French are a colonizing force. And, I've said before on the program, along with the Belgians, everybody that, shit talks American war shit... and, acts like, they have no blood on their hands. In Africa, the French
they just haven't read history.
They were just absolutely devastatingly cruel to the native peoples. And so he was, forced as a young man to execute prisoners, women, children, all kinds of things. And he comes back from there. And he is really changed, his parents specifically say, by the military experience in Algeria.
Who would have guessed?
And
talk about being fucking in a system.
Yeah.
Mm.
And he kind of gravitates towards more, he's still in that mindset, right? Of, that's the mission and all. But he also realizes he has a thirst for action. And he gets some kind of a buzz out of it, right? It is at least not middle-class living, I think. And that attracts him to it. But when he comes home then...
Because middle-class living is unnatural.
Yeah.
Well, but also you have to imagine that time spent there completely fucked up his adrenaline, his idea
Right.
of normal
You can.
adrenaline.
Yeah, Michael Jordan isn't necessarily fucking getting his rocks off to a couple people clapping at him giving a fucking impromptu speech.
Right.
It's not the same as 60,000 people screaming, right?
Right.
Your receptors are maybe adapted or blown out or what have you.
Yeah.
But I do think there is also something to be said for normal, safe, middle-class living is not what the human animal was evolved for.
Mm-hmm.
And neither was all-in-out bloody warfare, but there's a balance there to be had.
Right. Yes. There's a thing of scaring yourself into enjoying life.
Yeah, and there's something a little bit. Roller coasters are great.
Sure, Iggy Pop has a lust for life.
That's right.
But for a lot of people too, there's this thing of just like I grew up in a decent home, and I love my father and my mother and their parents, and I want to have my children and have them know them and remember me, and like I just want to maintain that is what is good to me. But it's just not for everybody.
Yes.
Usually people we talk about on this show. So this is just one of those guys. But
But a little struggle is good. It's character building is what we were talking about
Can be.
prior to the show, and
Right.
and it makes you interesting, and you gotta have it.
so the Algerian War, that's like 1956 when he's conscripted into that.
56, you said?
56.
Damn, okay.
Yeah. And so he comes home and he ends up getting with this group called OAS. And OAS were kind of like a terrorist paramilitary that were like very much pro-French state. They'd be a right-wing paramilitary.
Okay.
So he's kind of starting there, but that kind of, jives with what he was doing in the military. But soon he just kind of is just like, I'm really just against the state. And
so this whole pro-state paramilitaries and
or even just the law. Like,
so what is he when you say he's against the state and the law? Do you mean the French state or the idea of the?
I believe
state?
it is the idea of the state.
So he was you could say he was a flag smasher.
I think I think a little bit more egotistical than that. Where I think he wants to be in a way that is kind of similar to Andre Esparza. They grew up watching gangster movies, like American, and they're kind of like. There's a little bit of vanity, glory seeking. Like Andre Esparza was like, there was a political agenda. His father, Andre Esparza's father, did not come back from the Russian front, and he
explain Baader-Meinhof.
Baader-Meinhof was the group that was the German equivalent of the Weather Underground, where they were in solidarity with the Vietnamese and very much against Western imperialism. They believed that the modern German state in West Germany was still fascist. They were not compared to
comparatively, right?
what they just had. But yeah, his father went to the front, and then he was raised by his grandparents and his mother. And he, I think he his first act with his girlfriend at the time was a arson attack, and it was supposed to be in solidarity with the Vietnamese people against the war. And then they started the RAF, which was a twofold insult to Germany because it's Royal Air Force acronym, and it's also Red Army faction. The two armies
that opposed the Germany
that killed his father.
Yeah,
and he was just like it was just a big fuck you. But he kind of looked like like a Burt Reynolds type.
Hey,
and so did Jacques Mesrine. Except Jacques Mesrine was much more suave. And these
more than Burt Reynolds?
More than Andre Esparza.
Okay. Let's just call a spade here.
Andre Esparza was often compared to what's Apocalypse Now?
Marlon Brando,
Brando.
Oh, okay.
Brando was the one that was off.
Lawrence
the side.
Fishburne.
Yeah.
And like I said, this is all happening at the same time. This crazy time where there's the German terrorist group is collaborating with the Palestinians and Fatah and the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine. And there's Carlos the Jackal. All that's going on. And it was kind of a time of high nihilism, not just in America.
Carlos the Jackal.
Yes, for sure.
Bookmark that.
Yeah. And so Marine, he's just like out there seeking thrills, and he's always got some beautiful woman with him, and he's master of disguises.
Okay, for example,
Wigs.
and wig.
He dressed up as Marlon Brando.
Yeah.
And
He was fucking Richard Pryor in the streets. Nobody had a clue.
You can really tell when it goes.
Yeah.
When you hit the cheek.
Using a stick of butter.
Oh.
So
That's bad.
the police chief
He was tangoing in Paris. Hi.
the police chief said that from the beginning he wanted to become a criminal and wanted to be internationally known.
The police chief said that about him.
Yes.
Perhaps that's correct.
Yeah. Perhaps.
It
It's
seems
a good insight.
so.
Isn't that? But also, isn't that?
What the cops
It's kind of.
say?
It is exactly what the cops would say, and it is probably right, and that is because that idea is not totally unattractive.
Mm-hmm. I think
Especially the crazy people.
But here's the thing too is that there is a certain amount of comfort and I would say ability in doing things in a more organized way, like when you're in a terrorist group or a organized crime. And he was very much on his own. He had affiliates and there's people that come in and out, and a lot of them are women. But he's really doing his own thing in a way that I would say is most similar to kind of like almost a John Dillinger, right? Where you're a little bit on your own and you have some underworld contacts.
Right. And that's really the best position to be in. Like if you're talking about like game theory, your exposed surface area
Is
minimal,
Yes.
but you are adjacent.
Right.
I think we were just talking about this the other day. Gosh. This was it's just eluding me. Wasn't part of the organized crime, but was dude. We weren't just talking about. I was just reading it. Freeway Ricky Ross.
right.
Freeway Ricky Ross, and I'm not trying to hijack the story, but just to paint a picture.
Minimal exposure.
No gang affiliation whatsoever in LA, but
Yeah.
was the guy who was getting all the good coke from Central and South America,
Right.
which happened to be facilitated by the CIA, was making millions of dollars a day,
Making a ton.
but
of money.
by virtue of the fact not being gang affiliated or affiliated with any organized crime, evaded all of that shit for years and years and years, but had enough contacts to get the distribution or whatever he needed. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
There are benefits to being a part of a group.
Mhm.
There are downsides.
Yes.
A lot of people can turn on you and snitch on you.
Yeah, it just seems like a kind of if it's an organization as opposed to like we became friends, the three of us.
True.
Well, we'll see.
That's
Well, we did become friends. We'll see what happens.
We did, yeah.
but that's a choice. You're not thrown together with someone and you're like, oh, now you guys have to because we joined a fucking paramilitary group.
Right.
So there's something there
understand it.
to things being more personal.
And organic.
And his devotion to those personal relationships, and the reciprocal devotion to him is a lot of what carried him through.
Recip.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking
Mad
tip
recip.
top recip,
Hell
top
yeah.
tip recip,
Bottom top recip.
and so he gets into robbing banks, and he's good at it, and he's also just ruthless, shrewd with the violence up front when he needs to be, but also he's known for being like, it's like that's only really reserved for the people that fuck with him. Anybody else, there's no reason for me to be even rude to you. Is
Right.
is almost the disposition. So he starts getting this reputation as just this rebel, right? And he's cultivating a persona from the beginning, and it's almost going to be exclusively about that.
About the persona?
The persona and the image. It's this proto, like millennial thing where he realizes that's where the riches are.
But isn't that also? Yes, absolutely. But I want to, if I can, paint it in a better light than that, because there's the one side of that, but the other side isn't that what any good vigilante does, like a Robin Hood or a Batman?
Or a Chopper.
Robin Hood would be described like that would be used to describe him often.
Really,
even to the point where he just like
Robin Hood,
like drops homeless people. Like, here's some money I robbed.
And to a degree, Dillinger a little bit as well.
Yeah, well, a lot of those guys
or
going out into
even
Oklahoma.
Jesse James, right?
James.
But
Jesse James has all those songs that, because
but it's
also his name rhymed.
It's also partly transactional too, because then you buy loyalty.
Sure.
Under the guise of altruism.
Yes.
But it is a transaction.
But also goodwill on the street goes a long fucking way.
Right, and that's the brilliance of it, because you can buy
Hearts and minds.
You can buy loyalty with fucking, other, high standing members of society or whatever.
Yes.
But like that's more transaction, or you get less bang for your buck than if you gave it to the poor man on the street.
Those people will sell you out.
That word spreads.
Yeah.
But the urban legend aspect, the mythological aspect of kind of cultivating that image is not. We shouldn't dismiss that out of hand. Not saying that you are.
No, certainly not.
But
I yeah, it's even like kind of a thing too, where like I said, the people we're gonna talk about here are the equivalents of Pretty Boy Floyd or Alvin Karpis, who our friend Will wants to profile on the show. They were, because they're connected by like fences, hideout houses. Yeah. They were kind of an organized thing. And they were also kind of a political thing, because at the time banks were robbing the living fucking shit out of people.
And things have changed since then, and it's not the same anymore. But, things are better.
But you know what I mean? Like in a way, even though it was being anti-banking, was kind of a political cause, and still should be, and the people supported them.
Right.
So in this way,
it goes all the way back to Jesus Christ, actually. So let's just keep that thing going.
Right, Christ is Lord, etc.
Good thing he was white.
So he gets arrested, and he gets 18 months.
He gets arrested for a bank robbery
in '62, and his wife at the time is Maria de la Soledad.
Oh, a Spanish lady.
The name sounds hot.
And 3 children with her, and he goes to prison, gets out just a year later, and he meets Jean Schneider, and he says to her,
Jewish.
He says to her, "Me Tarzan, you Jane," and
she climaxes because of it.
Yeah,
wow.
They start robbing places together, including an underworld gambling den.
That's gonna be trouble, right there.
That's big trouble, right? So you got to get
big trouble in gambling den.
You got to get out of Dodge, right?
That's big trouble in Little China.
Yeah, Little France.
They robbed the underground gambling den.
Yeah. And he was known as the Man of 1,000 Faces. This is the one he was rocking around that time. You can see.
Oh man, he kind of looks like John Lennon there.
It's a little bit of a beatnik thing. Mustacheless beard.
He has a beard.
Those glasses.
Yeah,
I can't see the beard.
Yeah, the beard is down there.
Oh, now I see the beard.
It's a chin beard.
Oh yeah.
You thought it was
definitely
you thought it was like a sick turtleneck that went up to his lips.
Yeah.
You're not one of those beatniks, are you?
Beatniks.
Yeah.
So yeah, they him and Jean go to Canada. Ever heard of it?
Hey, her name was Jean. He said, "Be Tarzan."
Jean Schneider.
Hey.
And so they start. He gets kind of involved with some of the people that were the Quebecois freedom fighter people.
So what year is this?
This would be like mid-'60s.
Okay, so throughout probably building up, I don't know about it in the 60s, but in the 70s there was the Quebec separatist movement.
Right. And I mean that's something that's so fascinating to me. The more obscure a terrorist group is, like the more I'm into it. Paramilitary. terrorist, I don't throw a heavy hand on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the same way, you don't with war criminal. You throw it around pretty leisurely, and I respect.
Right. You have to subscribe to the Patreon to get what he's talking about.
But I respect that. With that caveat, I totally respect both of those terms and the way you use them.
Thank you.
Let me say that.
Okay, thank you, because you were very upset.
And
I was so upset.
You got really emotional.
I was.
Well, remove emotion and just
It was good.
yeah,
It was
like a
worth
man.
the conversation.
yeah. You knew I was gonna say.
Yeah, I know. I did fucking. Yeah, exactly. I know that. Look at him. He's getting emotional. He is my spiritual. Oh, yeah. No, but I with that.
The invective is not as heavy as
he's saying it with a pretty broad brush, and I value that honesty, and I will say it that way as well. If you mean terrorists in the way that I think you do, then yes, these are what people would call terrorists, is what people would call war criminals.
Yes,
you and I don't necessarily believe that to be true.
Yeah, and they say I was saying, if people are going to talk shit about capitalism, like, do you drink Coke? Do you flip on light switches?
Right.
You're part of it.
Right.
Get real.
Yeah, and it doesn't necessarily mean you are a capitalist, but you are complicit in the system.
Yeah, you're playing the game. That's all.
Right, I don't see gender, but according to the state of California, I'm a man.
Exactly.
So
I don't.
The state of California.
It requires me to say the following statement: I am a cisgender white male, although I don't technically believe in the construct of gender or sexuality.
I have something resembling a penis.
I guess you could call that a dick.
according to the state of California. According to this chart, you have a dick.
Very nice.
Yeah. So yeah, he ends up going to Canada, and this is just like one of these things where like you're like, how the fuck do you get around, bro? Like,
oh, everybody hitchhiked back then.
Mustaches,
wigs,
right.
wigs, glasses, prostheses.
No, but it was the news. Him leaving France, going to Canada. Maybe there was like.
Well, he's not really.
Maybe there was a picture, but it's like nothing's stopping him from traveling.
He's not.
There's no like international database. This is a time where like IDs were paper, printed out on dot matrix printers.
Yeah.
No interstate or international database of fingerprints, photographs, IDs, blood type, DNA. None of that. It was just like, yes, looks fine.
Right.
Walk through.
Right.
Yeah. So he kind of goes through this period, after, he falls in love with this woman, and he gets into like architectural design, and he's actually like shows aptitude, like, and just like good at it, and then he gets laid off, and then he's just back to the underworld. And
the Joker started.
And there's just women around and stuff, and also he was like. When he was a young guy, like he went to like the red light district, like very, very as soon as he could. He started carousing, you could call it, right?
They tell you to stop there.
In the red light district of Paris.
And so he actually had to prove in the criminal underworld that he was like not a mark because they knew he came from middle class.
So he had to fuck all. Oh, I guess you're gonna make me have sex with all these prostitutes to prove I'm not a mark.
No.
I guess I'll do it.
No, it was like he had to like start fucking people up. That fucked him over.
Yeah, and
so it was the thing where he started getting like this rep in the underground is like, oh yeah, don't like he was in Algeria, like don't.
He's extra hard.
Yeah, and
he didn't have to be one of us. He chose to be.
Therefore, there's a guy here. Don't cross him. And he cultivated that rep, and it spread quickly. But yeah, he goes to Majorca. And
he's beautiful Majorca.
That's one of the Spanish islands. Not
it's beautiful.
Majorca, Menorca, Ibiza.
All the English go there,
and
they do.
He's at the villa of the military governor.
Nice,
and he gets sentenced to 6 months in jail for like no reason other than they think he's working for French intelligence.
So he's at the villa with the military government, and he's having a great time. They're like,
you're here. Problem.
Now go in this room.
Also, and this probably not a bad place to be in prison.
This is still before Canada. I'm sorry. This is 1966. He opens a restaurant in the Canary Islands.
Uh-oh.
And he robbed a jewelry store in Geneva.
Cool.
Now that's Switzerland.
Yeah.
And
travels.
A hotel. Where was that? Southwest France. in like
Nice.
yeah, like one of like the nice areas. It's
nice. They're not. It's not pronounced nice area. It's pronounced Nice.
well, how is Chamonix?
I know, but I was saying nice.
How is Chamonix pronounced?
Chamonix.
Chamonix.
How do you spell that?
CHAMONIX.
Chamonix.
Chamonix?
Yeah, that'd make way more sense than Chamonix.
I'm pretty sure it's Chamonix.
Yeah, I think it's Chamonix.
It's Chamonix.
Hooked on Chamonix.
I'm hooked on Chamonix.
That's how I learned the spiel.
Yeah, that's how I keep sucking up languages. I'm hooked on Chamonix. So stupid.
Chamonix.
So,
Chamonix.
one of like the fucking super trendy like fashion stores in Paris, he robs that.
Le Monde?
In 68 he goes to Quebec. And
60.
she's working for this millionaire in textiles, Georges Delaurier, for a few months. And she has an argument with his gardener.
Oh God.
Jesus
And
Christ.
then the two of them are like, all right, two of you get the fuck out of here. And they try to drug the millionaire to kidnap him, and he's just like still awake, fine.
That's my secret, lady. I'm always on le drogue.
Yeah.
I'm always a fucked up.
So this is why he works alone.
Well, I mean, they were kind of a team, so they
He argued with the gardener?
I've heard of them going to both Arkansas and Texas. And
Well,
Texarkana.
and
Yeah,
this is
you can do that.
This is like 69. Nice. And one of the old ladies, Evelyn de Boulier,
Which in Texas?
in it says here on the Wikipedia it's Arkansas, but I've also heard that they were arrested in Texas. And,
Evelyn de Boulier.
de Bouthillier.
De Bouthillier.
She was found strangled.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
And so, yeah, they were at least arrested in Arkansas, and they were, that was from a snitch, an accomplice in some shit they were doing down there. And they were extradited to Quebec.
Wait. They sent him to Quebec and not France.
Yes, that's right.
That's right.
That's very weird.
Well, I think...
Well, he had probably like fake French citizen or fake Canadian citizenship because he drew a fucking couple of squares on a
yeah.
Okay.
Also, the richest guy they fucked with was this guy they tried to kidnap, and that's what they were extradited for, was a bungled kidnapping.
Oh, not the strangling.
This was the drugging.
Yes.
Got it.
And so he's sentenced to 10 years.
Jesus.
A few weeks later, he escapes. He is rearrested the next day. They were acquitted of the murder of the old lady in 71.
Jesus.
One of these guys, Jean-Paul Mercier, he is a
Hockey player.
Quebec freedom fighter guy.
Hockey player. Marc Messier is his son.
That's right. That's exactly right.
This is Mercier.
Yes.
Merci.
And
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
so Mercier, he was a murderer.
Boku?
Well, so is this guy.
Was he a Boku murderer?
Yes, he was definitely a murderer. Later on, it calls into question some of the killings he claimed quite a bit.
Okay.
He said eventually he says that he killed like almost 40 people, and everybody just goes no.
So he didn't murder.
No.
Well, yeah,
No.
he
I mean, maybe 13, which is nothing.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stories in there that are just not corroborated in the way that, for instance, like Panzram is like, dig here, you'll find,
Right.
and you know.
Yeah, because sometimes those guys, once they got a life sentence
And-
or
and-
a death
and-
sentence,
and
even Bundy was this way too, but a lot of those were corroborated, which was like, those are all me too. I mean, what are you gonna do?
who fell down a well? Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, I mean,
I pushed
the
him.
Iceman definitely did that, for sure. He claimed a lot of murders he did not do because other people confessed to them.
Yeah, but it's also a real bro move to do that, to take the heat off to take the heat off other guys.
But
that
it's
you
also
know
the cultivation of image,
yes,
which this guy's doing.
yes, and
Yeah, it is.
sometimes you can kill two birds with one stone.
Agreed.
Yeah, you just keep carrying the stuff.
And you also take credit for killing that bird.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Meanwhile, some guy's going, "Wait, I did that one. That was me."
I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Okay, I won't.
So they were acquitted in '71, of the murder in America. But with Jean-Paul Messier, they escape from prison in Canada in August 1972 with 5 others from the Saint Vincent de Paul prison. Mercier and Mesrine then go on a bank robbing spree in Montreal.
Oh my God.
And they would do this thing that ends up becoming the Marine style, which is 2 in one day. And basically,
Who would expect that?
Yeah, it's like they would be like, here's the alarm going up over here. They're like, go to the one like a block over.
Right.
Nobody will.
And they're just like, yeah. And it's like this thing of like chaos and anarchy. And like,
and your guard is.
He's also upping the thrill, too.
For himself.
Sure.
Yeah. It's speaking from experience that when we were burgled. Don't worry about it. Listeners, viewers at home, specifics are not important. But guard was let down the next day because it was like, well, they're not going to come again. Let's just fucking chill out. We'll circle the wagons. Next night, same fucking thing.
Yeah.
Because who in their right mind would come back again? Well, here's the thing, folks. These people are not in their right mind.
Yeah.
But also, you know what the juice is?
The what?
The juice.
Oh, the juice.
The action.
The action is the juice. Yeah. I thought you said something else.
You know what the juice is? What you thought you said? So one way of putting it about Mesrine is that he did not have the normal criminal attitude towards minimizing danger of being caught.
That old criminal attitude.
That normal thing you would associate with humanity.
Yeah. So he would have this thing where he'd be so mad about being imprisoned. He would be really pissed about it.
I'm so pissed I'm here in a cage.
And he ends up having this thing of like, the cultivation of the do not cross him in France also carries over from the underworld to the state. So it's just like, do not put me in a fucking cage. I swear to God. I swear.
You did entire system of power and
yep.
You did not.
But you don't.
If you put me in a place for robbing banks,
I'll be so pissed.
I'm gonna come back. So he has that attitude, and it's for real. And it's also the brotherhood in the prison. So he goes back to the prison with Mercier to break more guys out.
Cool.
Days later.
I told you. Is what he's saying. What he's saying. I told you.
And so, like, they go back to the maximum security block.
I'm breaking
from the outside as wanted fugitives. And, of course, the security apparatus around it, because of the recent escape, is overwhelming. And they're like, holy shit, there they go right there.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
And then they're like, the perimeter, they're like, it's like swarming with Canadians with guns, right? And
but also Canadians with guns. I mean,
and so
very good hunter.
They have a shootout. 2 guards,
a caribou.
2 guards badly injured, and Mercier was wounded, and they get away. And just the audacity of it makes the Canadians be like, "Yo, we gotta stop this. This is right out of hand."
Yeah, what are the Mounties doing?
They're riding around, fucking gallivanting and
those red
pussyfooting around.
Yeah.
So there's
talking to Rocky and Bullwinkle.
So now it's it's publicly
Dudley Do Righton,
public enemy number 1 and 2. So they fuck that up. They don't get to free any prisoners.
It didn't work. Huh?
And they go to shoot some guns in Mercier's kind of
base.
Native area, like where he kind of grew up, and
First Nation area.
And Mercier also has his girlfriend. She's tagging along, and they go through down to the forest, and they think they're all remote, and it's actually not.
Yeah, they're shooting guns.
And they're shooting guns.
Great. No,
and
notice.
The town of Plessyville.
Plessyville?
Yes.
Named after Plessy Ferguson, of course.
Probably Peaceville.
And so there's like a wildlife, outpost there, and those guys are like hearing like endless gunfire, and they start
the caribou have learned to fire shotguns and rifles, eh?
They found the stash
I think my Canadians are vatos. Hey, they fucking serve.
So two of the Rangers start wandering down there going, I mean, they're never thinking that it's the two most wanted men in Canada.
yeah,
Oh,
which is a
no.
big
So they
country.
Oh no.
They go up to them and they kind of, they pull them over.
Excuse me, fellas.
As they're, just take
you
a
mind?
second here. We don't mean to bother
Yeah,
you.
we have
Come on now.
we have to fuel up the Learjet. Learjet yet.
That's a pretty lady in there, too.
Wow.
Oh,
I mean,
boy.
we don't have any ceviche, but the halibut we got from the ice stream is still pretty cold.
All we
I
got
guess.
up here is a couple of mooses.
I guess. It's the freshest you've ever had.
Meese. All we got up here is the meese.
Fresh you ever had it.
So they're like, okay, loaded guns in the back of the car. Hey. And they're like, just follow us back. And Marine is like, guys, come on, And then one of them realizes, like, oh, shit, this is those dudes. And then they see it, and they just execute them.
Oh, he did that facial tick of that guy where he.
They execute the Rangers.
Yeah.
So
I didn't think that the nice Canadian Rangers executed the criminals.
Well, now
but
we're going to have to blow your brains out
Oh,
if that's all right.
I recognize you there, sir.
You don't fuck with us. You don't fuck with the Canadian Mountain Police.
First time I killed a bear, I cried for weeks.
The next time, I climaxed. So you decide. You want to go to jail or you want to go home, eh?
So then they keep robbing banks in Montreal,
You can only imagine.
After
yeah.
executing fucking Dudley Do Right.
and they're the most wanted people in Canada.
Public enemy number.
Get back over the border, which I've been through that border, and it's not easy.
Well, it depends which border. I mean,
Which way in or out? What are you talking about?
I was going north from New York, but
But,
Canada?
but also no, there's there's huge swaths, especially back then, more than today. You could find some small road in Vermont or somewhere else.
doubt that. That's true.
Back then?
I'm totally kidding. I'm totally
Okay.
kidding.
Because there's
It's a
more,
huge
more
border.
northern border than there is southern border.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I think
And
it's,
it's
a
also
larger.
it's
larger-
more inhospitable.
Yeah, there's a ton of back
Well,
roads.
it's kind of a natural border in that way, right? It's
Right.
yeah.
The southern border is inhospitable in a different way. It's
Yes.
but they're both,
So they go.
Tough,
They go.
tough.
They all stay. The two boys and their girlfriends go to the Waldorf Astoria.
the
In-
the Waldorf Astoria.
Waldorf Astoria.
How did we get in?
You can say Canada's the Waldorf Astoria.
in Manhattan?
yeah.
And they stay there for a little bit before they go to Venezuela.
Oh, natural.
It sounds like this is Butch Cassidy and the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
What?
Where they go to South. They go to.
They go south.
No, where do they go? They leave the United States after all their
I
robbery.
never saw it. Don't spoil it. I'm not joking.
You weren't there when we watched it.
No, this was right before I moved
John.
in.
It's great. It's way
God.
better than The Sting.
Oh, it's so
Way
good.
better than The Sting.
Never saw that either.
They got raindrops keep falling on my head. What?
That's in that?
Bro,
Yeah.
it's incredible.
William Goldman wrote it. He's the guy who wrote Princess Bride.
It's so good.
No shit.
It's way better than it should be.
It's
Wow.
really.
It's way ahead of its time in
Yeah.
terms like, hey man, this is accessible and it still holds up.
Huh.
Holy shit. It's really fucking good. And you know I hate
And it's
old-
Redford and Newman, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
It's so good.
They're so
Yeah.
good.
It's funny. It's relevant.
It is. Yeah.
It still holds up.
Yeah.
Great. It's like Thelma and Louise.
Did they stay a duo after that too? Did they do more movies together?
They did The Sting together.
It's right.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
They did The Sting together a few years later.
The movie you just mentioned, I'm like, did they do more?
Yeah, no, they
I
did.
keep
they did-
asking
Bro,
questions.
they did The Sting, and that's the movie that won the fucking Oscars and all that shit. Fucking bullshit. Hey, should we take a break?
Let's take a quick break, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back.
Boy. Oh boy, am I excited.
So, our friend of Marine's, Mercier,
Mm-hmm.
his lady companion has
Lady?
yeah, she has some kind of injury that he comes back to Canada with her to get that taken care of because of the great health system.
Now, where were they?
Right. So
they
were
had been in Venezuela with Marine, and the two of them would never see each other again. And
Oh no.
they go back there. He kind of goes back to doing his robbery stuff. He ends up back in prison, Mercier, in Canada, and meanwhile,
Incarceration Québécois.
Marine is going to return to France, and And this is 1972 now. And while Mercier is imprisoned from France, Mesrine has Jean go to visit him in prison in Canada and smuggle him weapons again.
Smuggle what?
Smuggle him weapons so he can break out.
Oh, okay.
And so, like, his escape from Canada, was orchestrated by Jacques Mesrine from France.
Wow.
And
Through
her,
Jean.
yeah, through her. And it was just this thing where, like, he was just, you know, in this criminal world, he had this no man left behind kind of attitude. Like, if you know, like, kind of like, were my boy, like, I'm gonna help you out, you know. And it would work. Before this, you know, he was already kind of a badass on his own, Mercier. But he's like, he just leveled up when he was with Mesrine, you know. And he was loyally vendetta-driven against his enemies, and also just loyal to his friends. And that's how he just handled himself in the underworld. And obviously, it became the currency.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And the ability to bring, you know, women that weren't necessarily predisposed to the intensity of this lifestyle is another thing he would do. And he goes back to France, and he just starts robbing banks again.
No, you do what you love.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck the banks.
Yeah.
They're insured.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the great thing that they show in movies like The Town, or in a few other choice examples, where it's like, ladies and gentlemen, you know, the robber was like, let's just, you know, chill out here. The banks are insured.
Yeah.
Nothing's gonna happen to you.
That's in Heat. That De Niro delivers that.
Yeah,
Where he's walking across the bank counter.
Town.
Yeah.
It's like, this is it. Your money's not going anywhere. The federal government is in.
One of the most charismatic bank robbers of all time is a future profile I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
Yes, thanks to my buddy Nevin sending me a bill.
Hell yeah.
But so
The
in
Joker.
in
The
19
Joker's
in 1972, when he goes back to France, he gets that style going even more with 2 banks in a day, a block over from the other.
God damn.
Would wait for the sirens, then go to the bank.
Be there. You know they're tied up.
Yeah. And then just hit it again.
Brilliant.
And this glee of making fools of them.
How is nobody? I don't want to give anybody any ideas. If I do, cut me in. But like, how has nobody done that again?
Well,
Yes.
because today, with the speed of technology, they would know that there's something going on immediately at the other bank.
Right, but often,
And then they would just-
oftentimes, even in a city like, let's say it's a metropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it's a metropolis like LA, and you go and
Literally the last place you would look for the guy. Another bank.
and
Unless the alarm goes off.
well, and there's the thing is they are sending. They're sending everybody.
Everyone!
As hyper militarized as you know, municipal police forces are.
In Canada?
No, I mean now here.
They got rocks.
Iraq's? No, I mean here now. Let's say you go rob a fucking bank, right?
Yeah.
And they go, they're here. They got fucking AR.
We should have shotguns for this shit.
They're sending everybody over there.
Yeah.
They send.
Yeah, but
the
they also, I mean, now they have a helicopter.
Yeah,
always.
I mean, having the cameras and but even then, like, they only have so many resources
Right.
that they, you know, how many armored personnel carriers do they have? How many are they sending to that situation?
Yeah.
Do they have enough to send to another one?
Yeah. There's also a thing, too, where, like,
I don't know.
the
Maybe they do.
I think if you're the one advantage of, you know, probably also a guy that was in the military and stuff like that, is this thing of organized chaos. If you're the one directing the chaos,
Then it's not
You
chaos to you.
you realize the upper hand you have, which is a lot of why they do theorize that the Joker is a former military person from the U.S. military.
Certainly
In
after the Dark Knight.
In The Dark Knight, that was a big theory that went around, and he was just going,
especially with the way he did stuff with his mouth, that he was also possibly on various psychiatric drugs.
Yes. And the idea of just, if I tell you a truck full of soldiers will be blown up, but if I say I'm going to kill one little mayor, everybody freaks out.
The expectation.
But I think he kind of learned that in this weird PTSD way in Algeria, where he was going like, you know what? Like, crazy shit happens all the time, and just you have to
safe. No, we're safe.
Yeah, and he's going like, what if you had the confidence that the military has when they go in and start total chaos?
Yeah.
He goes,
you
what,
are
what
total
if,
chaos.
What if you brought that to crime? And I think that was the attitude that he brought to the French underworld and the underworld in general, internationally, forevermore, where he was just going,
it's now the standard that they bear.
Yeah, and
that's what terrorism has been doing for 100 years.
Yeah. But knowing that you're wrong first in the sanctioned place will allow you to be wrong in the unsanctioned place much easier. Does that make sense?
I think I get it, but could you rephrase that?
If you go to a place where they tell you it's okay to do these terrible things,
where it's okay to do things wrong,
you know as a person wrong. And then you go like, oh, well, the whole thing is fucked.
I learned it from you.
Why don't I take the things I learned in
the
this
confidence with which we do these operations that
mayhem
end in torture and murder? What if I brought that just to robbing banks? Yeah. And just kind of being like they literally called this guy a joker many times, and that it was.
But what is stuff like The Art of War or Machiavellianism, other than being the better practical joker?
Yes.
Knowing your surroundings, getting the upper handing of the landscape, and a deceit or flanking, those are practical jokes.
Yes.
I fake left, you go right, whatever it is, practical jokes with blood as the punchline.
Yes, and the covering up of the punchline.
Matt likes that.
The punchline is exactly what I was going to say too. Punchlines last. Challenges last.
Mm-hmm.
Changing people's thinking. That all that shit lasts. And so this guy, he knows that, and he's cultivating this image. And even if it's something horrible going down, there is an aspect of the public that is like, can you believe they haven't caught that guy yet?
Right.
There's
Jesse James.
An inherent sympathy. But
Bonnie and Clyde.
When Chris Dorner was going around murking Ellie,
and that's horrible.
It is horrible, but
it's horrible.
I'm not afraid or ashamed to say that I was absolutely enthralled.
He's back in France, and he's doing the fucking the baiting of the police, embarrassing them. I mean, really making them look like Keystone Cops, having them chasing their own tails.
I love it.
And yeah, we all love that.
Yes,
we do,
because that also, in this weird, maybe subconscious way, or it forces the institution of police to get better.
Yes, I mean,
maybe there is something, a collective evolutionary psychology of like, well, yeah, we need some external tormentor to challenge our protection system, our immune system, right?
Yeah.
In order to keep it on its toes.
I mean,
because, and I know I'm fucking pontificating here,
no,
and so forth.
No,
but I think maybe there is something, because man, it's fucking really cool to hate on cops, right? For some, but like, maybe there is a benefit to test the system.
Yes.
It is interesting to see. I'm sorry.
And there's a less there is it's kind of a check. There is this game theory to it where have an individual or small group that is not representative of the whole to test the system for weaknesses.
Yes.
In the same way the raptors do in Jurassic Park in the beginning.
Yes.
You sacrifice one or two to test it.
Yeah. Have the bodies go over the moat.
Let the bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
The bodies become a bridge. That's the thing, right?
There's something.
There's something to that.
I don't know if I'm illustrating.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
But you just disagree, and that's where you're wrong. What I'm getting. There's something.
Listen to me
that.
for 1 second.
Okay, I'll do it.
This is a darker thing that I was. As much as I'm saying, like, Dorner has like this internet appeal. I don't like it because he was still killing innocent people just to prove he was right. Being right is not enough. One thing that I enjoy, which is very, very dark, was not the act, because it is absolutely horrifying, but the questions it brought up, which was in the wake of 9/11.
I knew you were gonna fucking say 9/11.
In the wake of 9/11, are you looking at me?
I love what you're saying.
In the wake of 9/11, we had the DC snipers, and we had terror security and orange codes and all this shit, and we couldn't stop two guys in a Toyota, and everybody's taking their fucking shoes. And I was just like, the emperor has no clothes. I was like, you're trying to sell us on an Iraq war. Well, there's guys outside,
actually killing
right outside your house.
Yeah.
And you have no idea where they are, day to day. And the terror campaign I talked about in with the Long Island Lowlives episodes was the same thing, where it's just like, these sad people that are like, I'm going to do a terrible thing, and for a few days I will be a superstar because America actually does applaud and appreciate violence and fugitives in some kind of dark way. But what I don't give a fuck if you're outsmarting the cops so much, you're killing innocent people, you're an asshole. But the campaign of terror happening domestically while they were trying to prove that bombing,
that the true threat was an external one.
Yes, and had nothing to do with 9/11. I just thought how much hypocrisy that showed would shine through, and instead I think it just added to the atmosphere of fear that let people be okay with the Iraq War. But coming back from
and it's still and the truth that you're talking about now is still not totally recognized by a certain part of the country. Is that the call is coming from inside the house,
right?
And maybe that call is a collect call from Russia also, or at least maybe there is like a chain letter coming from Russia to Oklahoma.
Oh, it's a chain letter.
It's a chain letter that is mailed to Oklahoma via Facebook.
It's a pincer movement.
Yeah, but then Oklahoma is then making the phone call. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Perhaps that phone call from inside the house is being relayed from a whatever,
right, from
an external, influencer. But the real threat is coming from inside the house, and always has been.
Yes,
of course,
it's a domestic issue. I mean, with terrorism in America,
it's always a domestic issue. Sure, the fans can be flamed from external, interests, of course. But
except for 9/11.
I mean, how many more people have died in this country from its own citizens?
Absolutely, yeah.
Just Oklahoma City plus shootings,
right. But so the interesting thing here is these campaigns, a lot of times were,
plus COVID.
They were. It's bank robbing, even the RAF in Germany and stuff. There's a lot of bank robbing.
These were not terrorist actions for terrorism's sake.
Well, no. Sometimes there would be assassinations of politicians, and
but
stuff
that is not terrorism. Those are political actions, right?
Sure.
Terrorism is, bombing the federal building in Oklahoma City. That's terrorism. Terrorism meaning wanton violence for the sake of instilling fear.
Right.
And then there is political assassinations, and oftentimes they overlap. They overlap, of course.
It also does cause fear in the way that,
but not in the same. The whole point of true terrorism is to instill fear, because it could be any of us.
Where we are is he's back in France, 72, has this style, right? Raising, shit up, but he kind of knows that he's a known entity in France, and he gets ready to get caught. So this is
It's various disguises, various.
It's seppuku by other means.
he called
cop.
called himself like a kamikaze of crime.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah, and so
The kamikaze of crime.
it's one of these things where you just go like, oh my god, like
That's
this. I mean, again, Joker. It's like he wanted me to lock him in the ICU or MCU.
you want to get caught.
Marine does that, and he says to the guys arresting him in '73,
Major Crimes Unit,
He
not
go-
the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, he goes, what do you bet I'll be out in 3 months?
He says that
To the guy arresting him.
Oh God.
And that's because he's already put things in place to get himself out before
Jesus
he ever
fucking-
goes to jail.
He's already dug
Jesus
the hole.
Christ.
He's already knows.
They're
what-
just
He's
full.
already lost. He's already
sent the fishermen out to catch the fish that
Yeah.
will become the ceviche. He's got the miners out digging up the fossil fuels, which will then fuel up the Lear jet. He's got the farmers out farming the coca that will get the pilot all chopped up to fly him to Belize. It's
Jack, we're actually deeper in the prison than we were before, pal. We got no fucking lights down here. It's a fucking mess.
we're digging. We're ending up right where we started.
The Learjet will be fueled up.
So he goes to the Palais de Justice, right?
When you say it like that, it
Superman's
sounds very
right.
sarcastic.
And-
Palais de Justice.
Yeah.
What do they do here? Well, it's kind of a joke.
Well, it's a palace, but there's justice.
We live in a society.
I don't think is Prince involved. It
And-
sounds fun.
He
Joker's in the bathroom.
he goes to the bathroom and
Really?
he says
Batman, Robin's in the kitchen. Joker's no. Batman's.
he
in
goes,
the-
I got diarrhea. I'm going to the bathroom, right? Straight out of Godfather,
We've all been there.
back of the fucking toilet.
Pistol,
There's
tape.
a pistol. Comes out, the judge he's answering to, he grabs as a hostage.
Jesus Christ.
And
This isn't even 3 months, though, is it? This is less.
Well, that's why he made the bet.
So he said, "I'll be out."
Oh yeah, what do you bet I'll be out in 3 months?
Okay.
Right?
Or
okay.
under.
Not in 3 months, but
Within.
Yeah,
Within.
and what? This is like 2
Well,
weeks.
the translation is not going to work perfectly, man. Within and
No,
in
but
are
I'm
very
just- but I'm
similar
just
in
saying
the
this
French
is like,
language.
This is like 2 weeks.
The French
right?
to English translation, you lose a little
March '73, he's caught. June 6th.
Okay.
So
so
it's-
a month.
April, May, June.
Yeah.
Month, 2 months.
Wow.
And I think that, because he knows he's going to court, right? So he like probably had the fucking gun in there for God knows how long.
there was a janitor that walked in and was like, "Is that? I think there's a gun by
This guy's shit smells like gunpowder.
And there's I mean, guns going off. He's got a judge with a gun to the dome, and people are shooting at him. It's fucking way out of hand.
Mhm.
And
I love it.
he's back fucking, underground. And a guy that he used to do business with snitches on him. And they surround his apartment that he's at.
Is there a reward for him or something? Is it?
I don't hear about rewards ever. But so he knows he's surrounded, and this guy Broussard,
I love a Broussard.
he goes
Not a Broussard.
he goes I know that I know he knows he's surrounded, so I'm like, come out unarmed or die. And he says, are you Commissaire Broussard with the beard? And he goes, will you come inside unarmed? And so he does. And he answers the door smoking a big ass cigar.
Nice.
And he offers him a glass of champagne.
Bienvenue.
Might as well.
And so in France he's public enemy number 1, and
But he offers him some Parmesan or something like that.
but he offers him some of the
Honestly, all champagne.
and
is
so
French.
he's waiting to get to trial for that, and he's getting
so
some,
they do arrest him from
they
there.
do arrest him from there, and he's getting some press attention, and
Huh.
there was a piece in L'Express, and he did not like that.
That's not L.A. Express.
It's
what you see
Le-
outside of the
Express.
theater.
L''Express.
And yes, and are you familiar?
Well, that's just
yeah,
the French
it's a paper. I've seen it.
convention.
Sure,
It's
an institution, dude.
L'Express.
and it's a choice of a nuevo generación.
So he didn't like it, and he
Génération new.
he sends a very mean letter to the guy that wrote it, and that brings him to the front page of L'Express.
Which is what he wanted.
And he's always writing to the press about how much prison sucks. And he gets on the cover of Paris Match. And this is while he's public enemy number 1.
What is Paris Match?
Just
is it
a
Tinder?
huge magazine. Like, he was kind of polling as being like the most favored man in France.
Same with Nicky Barnes.
Yeah.
When Nicky Barnes around the time of Frank
He was
White,
on Time or something.
he was a cover of either Time or Life.
Yeah.
Nicky Barnes was on the cover of Life, where it's like, yo, this guy is he not the biggest drug dealer on the East Coast? You know, pimp, fur coat, hat, like.
But it was this thing of
In
like,
the same way that Hitler was the Man of the Year.
but also
not the same,
Also,
but-
this understanding of like
There's
there's 2 economies.
and are they not the most important person?
Right. Well, so here's the thing too, though, is that for instance, in the case of the RAF with Badr Meinhof group, they would kind of almost provoke the authorities into being more draconian to show the public
Yes.
that they were brutal
For the sake of the message.
And Jean-Paul Sartre visited Andreas Badr
No shit.
in prison.
That's not no relation to Charlotte.
And no relation. And he says he comes out and he's like, yes, the conditions in Stamheim prison are deplorable. And they're like, what about Badr? And he goes, he's a twat.
Yeah.
And this is from a French existentialist
Who was very sympathetic to a lot of these
The causes.
insurrectionary groups.
But to say for him to say that Badr was a twat is a real.
I mean, he did do. Remember in the
statement.
SBK episode, he kind of spoke on their behalf a little bit. Yes, he did.
That's right.
Yeah, then he explained the existentialism of twat.
And to be a twat is a prison in of itself, and so he is in a prison.
Wall.
So while he's
behind his own mural.
while he is
I think that's French for wall.
yeah,
Edifice.
while he's waiting for this.
Dude, I got Matt to break. You like that?
I do like that. While he's waiting for this trial, he's doing these interviews and he's on the cover of magazines and he's writing like his own autobiography, right? And apparently the prison guards and stuff are like fucking like lighting his cigars and shit like that.
His cigars?
Yeah, they're all kind of charmed by him, right?
Pretty cool. Though.
And he in the autobiography he said he did like murdered 40 people. Almost everybody says it was like no, none. Like all of that's fake,
Wow.
And he just hams it up at the trial, right? And the press is fucking loving it. And
Ugh.
in the trial, the judge says to him, he goes, and what did you do with all the money you stole in the holdups? And he goes, I put it in the bank, Your Honor. That's where it's safest.
Jesus. Nice.
That got you to fucking break, you piece of shit.
That's not gonna get him out of this, out of the trial. That's not gonna make him not
What else
guilty.
would I
It's a
do?
good-
I put it in the bank where nobody can touch it.
That's still the
funny.
safest place to
Guilty.
keep. That's
Guilty.
Funny. That's
really
comic
funny.
book funny.
It is.
That is. Delete this from this podcast, funny, because I'm gonna put it in a comic book.
But do you think that's
Good.
just a man with nothing else? He knows he's not gonna get out of there. Do you think that's his
true nihilism.
No, it's just him going, well, this is the last interesting thing I can do.
He said to your point and everything we were saying before about testing oneself. He said to have nothing to lose was to have everything to gain.
Huh.
And that made him double down on everything that he was doing to continue following that path.
What's the worst that could happen?
The same thing happened
I
to
lose
the Wile
nothing.
The same thing happened to Wile E. Coyote. It's the same.
Well, it's also the thing of going like, if I go all this way, if I never flip-flop, I'm either right or wrong.
Sure.
And
it is an ethos.
And he follows it through all the way. And so he in this he's sentenced to 20 years, which some people were kind of like, a little lenient. Even they were kind of suspicious of that.
How old was he at this time? 40, 50?
God,
What year?
This would be 78. So he's It's a high security prison. It's called La Sante.
Oh.
And he's writing letters to friends, which the prison people they do read all of.
Every single one.
And he's talking like about escaping, all of
I
them.
can't wait to leave this fucking hellhole.
He's like, I'm gonna be out of here, probably let's see, I'm gonna be out of here May 5th. Right? And
It's a fun joke and blog. It's you're testing. He's going, if I say May 5th, what happens? Do they do the thing?
Right. It's like the Departed, or I'm sorry, no, the Prestige. When it's like, and yes, you guard who's reading this. The joke is, I've already escaped.
right, yeah. Plus, I am you.
And your mother.
I'm Durden Tyler.
I'm Turden
So
Tyler.
yeah,
I'm Tyler Turden. That's my gay porn name.
Nice.
he was saying May 5th, and
Turden.
then the governor is tipped off. Everybody knows he's gonna go on May 5th, and it was raining that day.
You can't escape on a rainy day.
So
Only in Shawshank Redemption.
Sank de Maille.
May 8th, he escapes with Francois Bess, and they were, I think they started with like a crew of 4, and one of them got shot, and the 2 of them end up getting over like the biggest prison wall of all time. There's like some workers there, and they're like, hey, that ladder, let's go. And then like grappling hooks, only guys that ever escaped from this prison.
So how do they escape from this prison?
Carefully.
They get some kind of like infrastructure like damage to a point where they can like get through a wall, and then they have like, there's like a gun smuggled in, and then it's just like, hey, you construction workers, that fucking ladder, get over here.
Right.
They have a grappling hook, they have a rope, and they get out.
Just book it
Yeah.
from that final wall.
And
Escaping shit's hard, man.
they held up a gunsmith in Paris.
After escaping.
Yeah, and
Make us a gun. You got 3 weeks.
and then they rob a casino in
Then they robbed a casino.
in Deauville, and
That's amazing.
so once again, Mesrine is just so mad about having been in prison. He is just absolutely pissed.
How dare they do what they said they would do?
How dare you? Like, he's so mad.
They followed the rules they made.
It's so funny. Like, he's just like, this is and
What did he expect? That's how the game works.
and so he goes as an escaped fugitive to the magazines, and he goes like on a publicity tour.
God damn.
So Paris Match magazine and Liberation, he says, I am fighting injustice, and I'm going to abolish the maximum security prison and solitary confignment, which is
Solitary confinement is cruel and
Torture.
unusual torture.
Oh, absolutely, no question.
Or a cruel and unusual punishment.
yeah.
as they say.
And the people that administered it are completely
and don't forget
careless
he's
about doing it.
the
It's
guy
bad news.
when he's on the lam. He's always got a disguise,
A mustache, yes.
I mean, just wigs, sideburns, glasses, mustache,
Nipple
beard,
clamps.
no beard, shaved head.
Clamps, yeah.
Now suddenly I'm bald. Whoops.
There's no
And
sleeves on this shirt.
when you see all the faces, like you go like, oh yeah, that's totally fucking him. But
Sure,
he would be
no
with people in public, and they'd be like, "Oh, you look like Mesrine," and he'd be like,
Yes.
"Ah!" He'd laugh.
No, I am Spanish.
I wish.
Me, I love the Queen. I'm an Englishman.
But so he would pose for photos with like a machine gun and stuff like that, and just now he's way too high profile, man. Like and he's really embarrassing the French. He's embarrassed Canada, got away with it, right? And there's a piece written by like a heavy conservative former cop. His name is Jacques Tillier,
Denis Farina.
and he's just like, "Hey, you can get a piece with me. Come here." And so he shoots him like in the elbows and the knees and the face.
Wait. Hold on.
This cop says you can get a piece with me.
No, Jacques says to the former cop turned journalist.
Hey, you can get a piece with me, and then Jacques shoots him
Shows up, and the guy shows up for the interview or whatever
with a pen and paper.
and then
Jacques
he
shows up with a gun.
He shows up with a gun, And this is I believe also the same guy from L'Express. And
Damn it.
And so he sends Polaroids of the guy crawling around naked.
Oh my God.
Shot up like the Joker.
Is this why they call him the Joker? Or was he called the Joker before that? It doesn't change my mind at all, but that is incredibly the Joker.
So
That's so fucked up Joker-like.
and he sends it to the paper, which is actually it's not L'Express, it's Le Monde.
Oh, Le Monde.
That's the one.
Yeah, and now he's
That's
kind
bad.
of losing the hearts and minds of the French public.
Oh,
Yeah, because you shot a
think?
journalist. You killed
Yeah.
it.
And tortured him. And
Yeah.
watched him writhe in pain and took pictures of him. In his media blitz after his escape, he says, I am going to start attacking bankers and judges until maximum security and solitary confinement is abolished in France.
Jeez.
And the first one he goes after is the one that sentenced him to 20 years.
Jeez.
All of you.
Fucking Christ.
Everybody here who said, yeah. So he's now he actually has a defined. Unlike so many of the other things he did,
There's a demand.
there's a defined.
But it's not
idea.
political. It's totally defined on his own experience. Like
Of course.
he is an egomaniac.
Right.
Yes, of course.
But also he's not wrong.
Right. No.
In solitary confinement at the very least.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's just an asshole.
Well, also at the same time, he's making the best case for maximum security prisons that anybody ever has.
It's
Right?
It's really not
Or
the
the,
ideal.
or the worst.
It's not the ideal way to fight it.
True.
But yeah.
See what happens? Do you see what happens when
Do
you
you
put
see?
people in solitary?
See what happens.
Do you
if
want more of me? Then abolish it.
Right.
So yeah, he said he would start assassinating
But
magistrates.
that's also not how it works.
And
It's not. It's not. And it's
So he tries to go get this judge, and it doesn't work out. And then the cops are coming in the building, and he's running down the staircase in the building, and he's like, you gotta get up there. Marine is up there. He's Marine.
Oh, he
and
says that
he's
to the
saying that to the cops. And then like
that's like Hans Gruber.
yeah, they go up looking, and they come down, and one of the guys outside is like handcuffed to a drain pipe,
Oh
right?
God.
It's like we just smoked a cigarette. I thought he was nice.
Very good.
And so then he kidnaps a millionaire, Henri Lelieville, and he gets 6 million francs for this guy.
Just
And at this,
wait, like not the same night.
no, just following this.
So he
Got it.
kidnaps him and then he ransoms him and he gets the money.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
Because I mean, like the private people that he would, like the bankers and stuff. A lot of times, the money would just show up.
Yeah.
Like people would be like,
Oh.
"Oh yeah, just give him the shit," right?
Oh.
And don't forget, like I mean, like that was the thing with a lot of the kidnapping, like terrorism at this time. Like that was kind of the move to make.
Yeah.
Sure, we'll land the plane in Cuba and then we'll talk.
Kidnap a rich person to then fund your actual work
And maybe she'll join your team.
and fall in love with you.
Mhm.
Right. Like
And the Sibians will be liberated.
the thing is that like most of the time that's going to be the case is that you're going to get the money and let the people go. One of the times it didn't was in Antibes when the Palestinians with 2 of the RAF guys had that plane full of people going from Israel to Germany,
Mhm.
and they landed in I think Mogadishu first,
Mm.
and then the Israelis just sent like 4 helicopters,
Mhm.
and they lost 1 soldier and 2 hostages, and every one of the hijackers, German and Palestinian, were murdered, assassinated, whatever. I don't care.
And probably everybody else on the plane too, I imagine?
No,
No,
all of the
no.
hostages were freed.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Because they just sent like commandos.
Yeah. They were wearing no underwear.
It was
bro.
one of those things like like post Munich, the Israelis were like,
Right.
we are not having this terrorism shit.
Yeah.
So he gets the 6 million francs. The French president,
They sent in passenger 57. Whole nine.
French president after
That's
this
58.
goes, we really need to get rid of this guy, and he says that to the ministry of the minister of the interior. He goes, we really have to finish this Marine off. That is the quote.
It's not a good look to say that, but
And he was they said he was an interior decorator.
So, he's hiding out with this woman, and they're going off for just chill time.
Trysts.
She's got a little poodle dog,
oh,
and they're going out to
probably
they're going to like
adorable.
Normandy or something for like a little just beach day.
Right.
This truck pulls in front of them, and then suddenly like a tarp gets pulled across, and there's all these soldiers with rifles pointed at him,
Jesus Christ.
and they just light them both up.
So extrajudicial killing.
They basically said like
wartime.
they were like it's time. The president personally shook hands with every man
that shot him.
that shot him.
Hey, that's bad. That's bad.
She did not die. She was obviously permanently fucked up. The poodle did die. Sorry, guys.
That's
Well,
a real
um,
tragedy.
For all you know,
Marine was left there. They took his fucking wig off. They threw it on the hood of the car.
Hey, you fucking wig! You get to die here, face down, hair off like a
and
dog.
they just let the tabloids come and take his picture. It was,
That is.
that's really classy. That's really, really classy stuff.
Yeah.
That's how you know that the really good people are in charge.
Well,
when they
did it,
a decision like that.
so, you know, did it, and I don't know, this is the question I'm asking with I don't have an agenda to the question is, did that backfire in the media?
I don't think as much after his last move with the journalist.
Right.
Like we were saying.
He
They were
had
both
sealed his
ugly.
own fate
sure
in the
but-
public eye with his own actions that whatever disparaging actions the French government took were not seen as distasteful because
Right.
he had already sullied his own image with his actions.
With the
Seems to be the point. Or
I
the case.
yeah, the general nature of society is just like
Right.
It goes from one of these things where you go like you know, if you and I are at the fucking deli waiting in line for our sandwiches and we go like, hey, how about this guy? Shit, they still haven't caught him yet, huh? He's robbing all the banks. Good for him. And then we go like, oh yeah, he's kind of a sadistic sociopath.
Yeah, he took a shit on Captain America's poster.
And
or
we're
whatever,
like,
and we're like, oh, you know what?
We're like, you know,
Yeah.
like now you can't attack the press, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and an image conscious person as he was too, like he didn't.
it seems like he
Like you
went
said,
over the deep end.
invited in
Yeah.
good faith, Matt, and then you know, you just like it's.
No,
So it
it's,
seems
it's,
like
it's a bad look.
what the
Well, it
what
was-
the government did might have been a master stroke.
Well, what do you mean?
Meaning meaning
The master stroke of the government, in my opinion, is always we are the final word. That is why we are the government.
right, and then also feeding into the population's sentiment in that, you know, you are right, he was an animal.
Yes. Oh no, do it when it's popular, right?
Right, meaning, the U.S. government, they purposely didn't show any of the pictures of Osama bin Laden with the sea burial and all that stuff because he would have become a martyr and all that stuff. Once this particular guy, this cult of personality guy, who was at one point viewed favorably, once he
the most
crossed-
popular man in France.
once he crossed the line, it seems like the government did the right thing by feeding into the population's now disdain for him because of what he did. It's telling the population, you are right to hate this guy.
Mm.
And so we will reward you for that with these photos
Mm.
showing you that he's a creep.
Well, they showed
Well,
him as dead.
Just a man.
But
Just a man and not a legend, I think. Is
yeah, that's
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
yeah,
no,
sure,
you know,
sure.
with the wig off.
Sure.
The
wig off.
the unflattering death photo of the guy that you up until recently liked.
Yes, I think.
Do you,
the-
I know.
No, you are.
No, you are.
That makes perfect
but
sense.
The whole thing
I
is
understand.
very,
I understand.
It's very.
It's self-serving,
but
but it's smart.
the one thing you can say, and the whole. I mean, I would not be surprised if so much of this guy's thing did inspire exactly Dark Knight Joker, because I'm a man of my word. If you're a man of your word and you say somebody can come and interview and then you torture him and shoot him in the face,
Are you?
You're not
You're not a man of your word.
You're not a man of
However, knowing he was a man of his word, the French government goes, "Oh well, now he's threatened the Minister of Justice. He's threatened to kill, or at least kidnap judges until we abolish maximum security prisons and solitary confinement." And we believe him because mostly he's been a man of his word. And so that was really what sealed his fate.
But-
is the attacking of the upper classes. The
Well,
guys,
that's
the
what seals
untouchables.
everybody's fate.
But in that sense, he is a man of his word, but only in the negative word.
Yeah.
So he's not a man of his word when it comes to the good things. Like
No,
meeting
was
evenly.
He was in the way of I'll come back to the Canadian prison and free you guys.
Well, yeah,
he did try.
But to the government, to all these people, his man of his word is not, I will treat you as an equal when I meet you. Him being a man of his word only, so on a scale of good to bad, man of his word is only in the bad
I'll
section.
do all the bad shit I talk about.
Exactly. And therefore you can't trust the good stuff, I'm saying. The man of his word only extends to the bad side.
In multiple interviews, do not think you can take me prisoner. He would say, it's better to light me up than give me a chance to shoot you. On his person, he had this like rigged up, like taped together 2 grenades all the time. That was there when he was shot. He had a gun on him.
Big ball shit.
Yeah, he had big ball shit. And
double grenades, right?
he was just totally caught completely by it was the only way they could kill him because he was just like, oh, I'll just fucking
Bonnie and Clyde.
spike a grenade and see how I get out of it. Because most of the time he did. And that was another thing where they were going like, we took him at his word. The police chief, they say in the interviews with him, they're like, the only time he really seems like he's not telling the truth is when they say that we gave him the opportunity to surrender. One of the eyewitnesses on the scene was just like, I remember them yelling into a car that they just fucking fired tons of bullets into, like, give it up. And like, he's like, that was 20 years ago. He goes, I know what I saw. That was fucking for show. They had already executed him.
Yeah.
Right.
And he goes, like, he's like, I don't have any skin in the game. He goes, they killed him. They wanted to make it look good.
Right.
And they acted like they gave him a chance.
Stop resisting.
Yeah.
Please stop resisting.
I see a gun.
You saw him.
Yeah.
He was
He had a
going for
gun.
something.
He was
it's like, yeah, 'cause
moving.
he's getting fucking
He was
lit
eating
up.
a pear.
So yeah, his daughter was there's a great photo of her taken where she's going to like look at her father's body and stuff like that, and the press comes up to the
Christ.
car and like she's just like giving them the finger because now she's like a teenager. Yeah, apparently in his apartment,
I know they're different.
his final love, Sylvia Jean-Jacques, he had a letter saying, "Hello, darling. If you read this, I'll have been killed by the police, which is nothing we didn't expect. I died with a gun in my hand, and even though I might have had the time to use it, if I had, I would have."
That's fair.
Man, perhaps I did. Perhaps I did.
He's pretty honest about that stuff.
Yeah, and
There's food in the fridge. I love you. Say hi to your brother for
Yeah,
me.
make sure you take out the.
so one of the interesting things is afterward I think not even afterward, but like while he was like on trial or whatever, or imprisoned, he was the subject of this thing of that started with the Son of Sam in New York, with the Son of Sam law of like, can they profit off their writings while they're in prison?
right?
And so they passed one of these Son of Sam laws just for a Marine in France, even though our courts actually shot down the Son of Sam law.
Yeah, I think like with Jordan Belfort, you're able to use those proceeds to pay off the people you defrauded. Like, let's say it's a financial
Right?
crime.
Yeah.
Those proceeds can use to pay back any sort of debt that you owe, but you cannot be enriched by the crimes you commit. I think still here.
Right.
Can you pay for like the $5 bag of Doritos?
Oh, at the prison because Doritos cost $20.
Yeah. 'Cause
No.
the prison is now
No. Prison is a racket.
The way they describe it is 2 grenades which were taped together and adapted so they could be brought into action instantly.
That's what I call them.
Big ball shit.
Sylvia was the one that was shot with him, and she went through multiple operations.
Sounds fun.
Served 2 years in prison before being acquitted of any crime.
Jesus Christ.
Great. What a
Marine's
nice time.
defense attorney, she's now part of a big law firm. He would write like love poems to her and stuff too. Super, super fucking charismatic lover boy.
Me, Tarzan, you, Jane, my balls grenade.
Well, that was Jean. That was
You
Jean.
check
That
here.
was Jean Schneider. That wasn't her. But
Me, Tarzan, you lawyer.
Yeah.
That's what it'd be.
and so she tried to hold the French government accountable for decades after for
Good
just
move.
this kind of summary execution. And eventually it was, you know,
It is fucked up. It's not a good look.
so this autobiography that he wrote in jail, you know, they were trying to publish, and one publisher was trying to put it out, and he just like wanted payment from publishers, and they were like, we don't even know if we can put this out. A little is Champs Libre Editions in 1984 published it, and the founder of it, Gerard Lebevici, was he was in the French film industry, and he was an entrepreneur, and he was
The French word.
really fascinated with the crime underworld, and he adopted Marine's daughter after
What?
he died. Yes.
Jesus.
And so he puts the book out in March 5th, 1984. They find his body in a parking garage.
What?
And he's shot with a pattern in his body that is a square.
No.
And that is a criminal underground sign that a contract was not fulfilled. So people wonder if it was somebody
He was supposed to flip back some of that
from beyond the grave, if Mesrine actually had a publisher killed
because
he never paid him for.
What happened to his daughter?
I mean, she was, I think, you know, older enough anyway. But
Oh my God. That's terrifying.
So yeah, there was a film called Mesrine in '84.
A year later?
There was a band called Trust, had 2 trucks about him. Punk band The Blood.
2 tracks or 2 trucks?
They had 2
Tracks.
trucks that rode on the track.
They had a track about him on 1983 LP.
Who do you trust?
2008 2-part film comes out. Critics raved about it. Talked about in The Guardian, The Independent UK, all that. Marine Killer Instinct, followed up by Marine Public Enemy #1.
Marine Dragon Tattoo.
Vincent Cassel's the lead role.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. A lot of French and French Algerian rappers will refer to Marine extensively.
That makes sense because there's a lot of French Algerian rappers.
MC Solar sings about him?
I think the one
I think that fucking MMA guy that beat the shit out of his dad probably wrote a few tracks.
PNL is one that did a track about him in 2015, but there is honestly a lot of underground French rap
Snow
that talks about him.
Snow?
Informer.
But yeah, man,
Informer.
isn't that fucking insane?
Dude, that's crazy. And then just that little icing on the cake of I adopted your daughter.
He's a French.
He truly is the Frenchman henchman.
He is, and
He really
but
is.
he's also, I mean,
But he's not a henchman. He's the
The
lead.
Frenchman henchman killed the guy, but he's the Frenchman wrenchman or
He's just these
things. Things are not so simple.
Who's the guy who's in charge of the bank robbery? Right?
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Yeah, you know, he's. This is one thing I really enjoyed that I read about him.
Had no hands.
He basically says in his own autobiography that he just didn't want to lead a boring life. And
That's one way to do it.
Well, everybody's autobiography is their own.
I mean, if you write an autobiography, then you don't want to leave a boring life.
Otherwise, it's just a biography.
but also, I mean, think about it in terms of this as he puts it, coming back from Algeria. He sees Parisians and he goes, sad faces, weary eyes, human beings condemned to eternal mediocrity, stomachs on legs,
Oh, God.
regular customers of the daily special and the small glass of red wine, human beings already familiar with their future since they had none.
That is poetic.
And this is, I mean, right around the time.
Stomachs on legs.
And then you got like, it just dovetails with everything else. Like, I mean, you got Johnny Rotten singing No Future in England, like right around this time. It's like, it's the time of nihilism.
Right. Well, it's all these kids.
Because everything was so...
You realize bullshit.
And the false comfort that was shoved down your throat.
No, it's all these kids who are growing up the first generation after the World War.
Yeah.
Where all of these people in Europe are going, well, there's no war.
Things are great.
This is way better than no war. And so all the kids growing up think that they're fucking lame and content. And no,
but they're both right. They're both right.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, but the perspective of it is all of these people who lived through the war are happy
happy that the war's over.
They're happy
There's
with
nothing
just
to complain about.
bullshit nothing.
Kids need something to complain
meanwhile,
about,
the kids
so they find it.
Meanwhile, the kids are going, they're not doing anything. And all of these people are like, we just lived through a world war. I love nothing.
Yeah.
But aren't they both right?
Yeah,
They are.
They're both right, but I'm just saying that's the perspective I imagine that is happening.
I think you are right.
Yes.
But I think both of those perspectives are correct.
They are.
They can be, but the kids also don't have the understanding of why, because they didn't grow up through the World War. They don't have the understanding of why they're so happy.
Well,
with
and
nothing.
also the people that are so happy with mediocrity or boredom don't really understand that.
Things can be better.
The absence of action is not paradise.
Well,
Yes.
no, they do and they don't because
Relatively
growing up through the war, they probably experienced some of that before. But then all of a sudden they're in their 30s after 10, 15 years of war, and they're like,
well, what I'm saying
you know
is
what,
that the white picket fence of 1950s America and the austerity of England of the post-war period were, they were peaceful, but they were not great.
no, but they also,
But they were compared to war are.
As we talked about in one of the Patreons, the 50s were bullshit. The 50s were the decade after the war where everybody was like, the 50s are the greatest decade ever, but really that's the one decade that is an outlier from every decade.
And it was great for some.
All of
It was
the whole
great for
century.
a lot of people.
It was
but
great on TV.
Yeah, it was great on TV.
It was especially great on TV.
It was great on
Ask
TV.
Wanda Maximoff.
And that's when they say "Make America Great Again."
Is the
They
50s.
don't mean great. They mean great on TV.
Yeah.
And it's
it's a TV guy saying it.
And
And
great,
that's why it was an actor and then a TV guy saying it. Those are the two people.
And great for who?
Well, it doesn't matter. It does matter, but
great,
it doesn't
does matter. Great for who?
The
right?
TV.
But
But
even
it was
then,
certainly great for a certain class
yes,
and a race of people.
Of course.
but with the image.
Well, certainly the image, of course.
With the image, if you didn't live through it, I didn't live through it. You didn't live through it, but we both watched the Donna
Hey,
Reed show. And we
exactly.
went, hey, that.
Hey, that looks great.
Right.
I told
Let's
you
make it like
the
that.
thing I said to my mom. I was like, why can't we be like one of those families? And she goes like, I remember asking my mother
The
same thing.
fucking thing because those families don't
They don't exist, and that country doesn't exist.
Totally. But there is something to say that, the greatest period of American prosperity was when there was a 90% tax rate on the richest Americans.
No, that's true, and
But that's
also
something
there was a maximum benefit for the maximum amount.
But that is not part of the equation. No one thinks that is part of the equation.
No one thinks
even
that.
though it
but
is.
you and I, we all understand that there.
we do, and we also understand that it was one of the times where Americans, post-war, were like, I'm not down with all this racist shit. Like, I served with black men,
Yes.
and they were courageous American heroes.
Yeah.
And so you had the beginnings of these progressive, attitudes from the suburbs where people before
a lot of the-
would have just been
A lot of the
segregated,
beat guys,
and they were coming
fucking-
back and being like, "That guy better get a fucking house if I'm getting a house."
And then that led to their kids too. The 60s were the kids of those people.
Yeah, exactly.
Or,
and so,
or they were those people themselves.
but
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
So that's the thing too, is that like I would complain, about what I felt was the shit going on in the 90s with the erosion of labor unions and my dad and my grandfather would be like, oh, there's all these new jobs though, like the economy, and I'm going like, no, but like there's still there's just like this huge separation of wealth, and they were like, yeah, but the economy's so good right now, like how you can, and I was just like, that's fine, but like also like it's taking off, just because of this one boom, and like you're not.
But the tip of the rocket's accelerating faster than the bottom.
and
Look at my sex life.
but they were also going like, listen, we lived through fucking war. There's none of
Right.
that.
So this is everyone's got a point to their.
Everybody's have a point. You're bitching because you're spoiled is my parents' point.
Yes.
And they're right.
Right.
And I'm bitching because I'm going, we all know, you, me, grandpa, everybody knows all the other things that still need to get handled,
Are
and they're
not.
not yet.
And you're grateful because the world's not on fire.
But also,
And we're ungrateful because it's gonna be.
yes, but also, I don't think the youth get enough recognition for actually listening to all those stories of adversity and challenge.
Yes, because they think that we're not listening. But we are.
We are.
Well, we are, but
Yeah, we
some
are.
people don't. But
The only fucking show in town.
yeah, if all we can hear is you bitching, you better believe we're picking up some of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's like my grandfather, my mom's.
How many times did your parents tell you, "Oh, you don't get it. You don't listen to a word I say"? And like, all I hear are the words you say.
Dude, I know that was fucking bullshit because I could repeat verbatim exactly every story they
I
ever
know.
fucking told me.
Fucking
You know what I mean? I was just like, oh, what? I thought you said that was your cousin and not your brother. And my dad's like, what? I'm like, yeah, dude.
yeah, I heard you, you motherfucker. You check this out. When we were in fucking 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, everyone was losing their shit when the stock market, when the Dow broke 10,000.
Yeah.
Now it's over 30 regularly, all
Yeah.
the time. Hasn't dipped below.
Right.
Where's the minimum wage?
Is anybody? Are we all richer?
Yeah.
No. Is how much better our lives because the stock market is now 3 times the value, size, girth, whatever you want to call it, that it was in 1999?
Mm-hmm.
Is the world a better place now? Is the economy that much better? No. The
Yeah.
tip of the rocket is in the fucking asteroid belt, and we're still stuck in lower Earth orbit.
Yeah. And that's why, I mean, just thinking about it, like, I was only thinking about it as I talked to you guys tonight, but, like, this idea of, like, the bank robbing criminal underworld in the 30s, and then with these guys, too, is just, like, it is another terrorist campaign. It is. It's like this thing of just being like, why the fuck do you have all this fucking shit and we have
What
nothing?
is another terrorist campaign?
That, like, underworld conspiracy of bank robbers and just, like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, that it
But
could
you mean
build.
terrorists in a good way.
But
Yeah, I do. Often.
Got it.
that there could be
Got it.
such a deep reservoir of all of these people who are helping and working into it, and also good at it. Like there's a big difference between robbing banks like that and
Well, that guy was an egomaniac. Don't get me wrong.
no, but I'm just saying there's a big difference between that and what happened with guys like McVeigh and this libertarian freedom fighter movement.
Oh no, well they're totally up.
They're throwing
I-
ass.
But what I'm saying there's a big difference between those two things about
What you perceive as the dichotomy of power.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I completely agree.
Yeah, they see the McVeighs. They see it as a loss of white supremacy, and
Incursions of government into
into the
more things.
private life or whatever.
Yeah.
When they really should be, Tyler Durdening the credit bureaus.
right.
Yeah.
But it started.
Bomb equity.
Yeah.
But it started.
I'm saying this as purely an artistic expression. This is no way an endorsement of any sort of terrorist act, but bomb the credit bureaus and wipe away debt. Don't.
Right.
But
if you're really serious about overreach of power, like, come on, get fucking real.
But it also starts. It's the difference with rural radicalism is that it starts with a lot it's
fucking entitlement.
So much of it is based on
yes,
entitlement because
tell the
Yeah.
Bundys.
and government. They're like, oh, you have no right, and you're like, who paid for the roads? Like,
Right.
who's getting your fertilizer? Like,
Yeah, where were the Bundys and where was McVeigh during
Yeah.
Jim Crow?
Yeah,
Like, suck my dick.
How did the
Yeah.
Bundys get their land? The fucking government kicked the Indians out.
Yeah,
of
you
it.
got your
Yeah.
By the
Yeah.
good graces of the U.S. government, they genocided a whole race
But
of people.
meanwhile,
so
guys,
you could
you
have
know-
your God-given land.
There's stories. I don't know if Dillinger did this, but the stories of the bank robbers would be they would find mortgage payments and they would burn the
records.
the
That
records
is
of
true.
mortgages.
That
So all
is
these people
true.
didn't have to.
Yeah.
So there's. You think Clive and Bundy took over a wildlife range that our
It's part of the
taxes paid
BLM.
for?
It's part of the Bureau.
right?
you know?
Yeah. Well, there's that thing too.
nobody's
and
here.
it's the thing. Like what
Yeah.
I was saying. When I talk about things like the IRA or whatever, I'm like, there is the politically motivated, and then there's the people that are just attracted to it for violence.
Yeah.
And so,
Yes,
like, there
yes.
is a vast difference
Hey, I got one of those, pal.
between a John Dillinger and a Bonnie and Clyde. Bonnie and Clyde were violence-loving psychos.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
John Dillinger was a little bit more of an everyman fighting for the people. Same with Jesse James versus, say, Billy the Kid.
or at least seemed like it.
Billy the Kid
Yeah.
was a guy that was just like, oh, let me drive up my legend or whatever. Just
Mr. the Kid.
it's just there's always the guy. There was a guy. I think Francois Bess was the guy that Marine was partnered up in the same way he was the Mercier in Canada, And Bess was just kind of like, I don't want all that flashy shit, man. He's like, I just want to do jobs.
Yeah.
And so in his book, Marine called him a monk, and
Which is
Brilliant.
really saying something.
and you know, Bess was one of these guys where he's just like, you know, he kept robbing banks a little bit, and then he kind of like was on the lam a while. He got caught, and then he was just like one of these things where he got in front of like a parole board, and he was just like, you know, man, I don't like a lot of the things I did in my life, and everybody got to kind of
Marine?
no,
Bess.
Bess.
The monk.
The monk, and he was just kind of like, yeah, a lot of that shit wasn't worth it, and it was one of these things where like the public kind of got to come into it and kind of go like, what do you publish, or what do you punish like a 20 years changed man
yeah.
for?
And-
Because he's already kind of, has he already served the sentence
And also,
of regret?
The point is not punishment. The point is supposed to be.
Is reform.
It's
well,
supposed to be
I mean,
reform.
theoretically.
Well,
But
perhaps
that's
in
what I think.
modern
Like, you know,
France.
I think that's a really interesting dichotomy because what happened with Marine, it sounds like maybe at some point that he was following that path, but by the
Oh,
but,
I don't think so.
no, but I'm saying maybe at some point, maybe when
Oh, if
he
he got to a certain age, who knows? Yes.
maybe
sure.
maybe when he started out, he thought he was or he believed in it, but it's very clear in the last couple decades, at least, he was not on that
Especially,
track.
I mean, when you do things like solitary confinement and things like that, then it's no longer reform, and then the subject of that punishment becomes so resentful that they are beyond the point of reform.
Yes.
And so it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, probably by design, at least in this country.
Yes.
yes.
Where it's, well, no, we're not gonna. I mean, we wouldn't be able to make money if it wasn't.
I think, in my opinion, this is my assessment.
Because if the punishment, listen, even let's say we go to prison, and we feel remorse for what we've done, and we've learned the lesson, but let's say the punishment was so severe, the conditions so harsh that you're now just resentful for the conditions you endured, no matter any sort of perspective that you've gotten from your time behind bars, you are so resentful of the institution and society that put you there that whatever reform that you may have gone through is washed away, null and void.
Well, think about this two-way thing, right? And this is a very interesting perspective that he singularly has as just the way he grew up.
Okay.
You are a French citizen, and you
A Frenchman.
see the French resistance to Nazi occupation, and you see them being villains, and they are outlaws, but they are your countrymen,
And they are right.
and they're not right in that moment.
No, but
their cause is right.
They're morally correct.
They're morally correct, and then you go on behalf of the state, and you see the state doing something morally wrong, and then you just go like,
Well, I must.
it's all fucking bullshit. And you go like, it doesn't matter if you have a badge on. It doesn't matter if you're a terrorist. You go like, who? You can all be bullies. And I think he just committed then to just being like,
Yeah.
I don't like bullies.
let's show everybody how much this is all bullshit.
It does feel like something changed along the way.
Also, he could have just been totally satisfying gangster movie fucking
Sure,
egotism.
sure.
But I think those two things
Why not both?
are very, very important to understanding who he is.
And it's a really tough start to when you're 18 to have you go
And see other kids that are not as crazy as you have to execute kids and women and prisoners and torture them. Like,
there.
and he's just going,
and
and he's like, "This is my government."
This is what I'm fighting for.
yeah.
Like,
What
the fuck?
am I fighting for?
When did the Algerians come in? The last I checked, the last people that came here were fucking up the road in Munich,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
and we're going to Algeria. What? Huh? Pourquoi?
Yeah.
Pourquoi?
And just to say, I mean, too, like, just this, like, attempted or was probably.
It's Boku fucked up.
It was a gang rape probably that followed once he was led away.
I'm sure.
And he's going. They were saying like he was just like
And that's
I was just appalled that
and
anybody
that's-
would do this to a woman.
in their own country. That's the witch hunt. That's the other side of, you've got sometimes there's a benefit to you band together as a nation. You've got this nationalism when we're trying to root out whatever it is. But when it's in your own country and you're so fervent about, let's say you've got a Nazi remnant in your country,
Mhm.
whatever it is, then in the same way that privileged people will invent problems,
Mm-hmm.
the country will do the same thing. Hey, you, lady,
Mm-hmm.
and us, 10 guys, we're going to make an excuse to gang rape you.
Yeah. Maybe you didn't confer with anybody at all in the Nazi regime.
You didn't.
Right. But to boost morale, we're going to make you
Right.
a fucking scapegoat.
Yes.
And so I think that was a thing where he was just like coming up against
And now we all,
systems of power, and
Ugh.
he was just going like,
it's
what?
all bullshit.
Fuck this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, even if she was, not an excuse.
Not an excuse at all.
No, not at all. No, well, and I think you could draw an analogous line to the way he died, and the idea that he was built up to say this, and of course he was not. It's not in the same way.
That he was
But he becomes enemy number one.
He becomes
in the same way that she would have been sold to all of those guys,
Right,
whether
right,
they did
right.
it themselves.
Yes, a sacrificial lamb.
And so in the end, it's almost a full circle. He goes out
very good, very
as he
good.
was born.
And in that way, also not cool.
Yes.
Not cool that they did that to him as well.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Except even though he was guilty,
Even though he was
still
guilty.
not cool.
It doesn't make you, if you kill someone, it doesn't make you better than them because they killed people.
Well, it's like
Right.
that quote about as long as there's a criminal class, I'm part of it, right?
Yes.
And I think that's what
Who
he
said that?
You know that quote, don't you?
I know it, but I don't know who said it.
I don't know who said it either.
I think I said it one time.
It's just what he does whenever.
I think I probably said it. I probably incepted Karl Marx or something.
I mean, it could be component.
I
or
do
something.
really think that he looked at this woman and he was just like,
It was Tupac.
like, you might be conferring with the enemy. I don't fucking know. But in this moment, you are the victim of a power structure that is immediately surrounding you.
Mm.
And I have empathy for you because
No matter what.
they don't need to do that. Anybody that is
They're
just
taking advantage.
anybody that is just does not need to victimize you.
Yes.
And I think after that, that's just what made him be like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, the supposed revolutionaries are equally as full of fucking shit as the murderous
Yeah,
Nazis.
as soon as they move up a station, they become just as cunty.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the people who, as the power structures move, you have to watch out for the new people who join, because are they joining because they believe in it, or are they joining
Yeah.
Because of the
power?
relative station that they hold.
Yeah.
And this is where Marx was a genius.
And that's why Massachusetts Democrats are often very shitty, because anybody can be a Democrat in Massachusetts and be elected. And I'm not saying it's analogous to these things.
Oh, very
but
good.
it's just
very
in
good.
politics, who's in power? The people in power, the group in power. I will join the group in power because that's how I gain power.
Mm-hmm. Power
Right.
begets power. It's like
Do I
gravity.
actually believe in that, or do I just believe in power?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the
And that
thing.
is
And that's why there is a flux in politics often, because there's shitty Democrats and there's anyway. But anyway, that's a
flux
whole other thing,
capacitor.
John. This was really great. Thank you for bringing it.
Yeah.
Very good conversation.
Yes. I
Always
really,
love a good conversation with the boys.
I thought it was going to be much more like diving into his kind of more right-wing origins. And then I just realized like that was just kind of like his transitional phase out of the military into
It's what spurned the swing left.
the political MO
Yeah.
was really just crime. And then
And
The-
crime is
and the swing
it's inherently a revolutionary act.
and the swing
depending on who's writing the laws.
and he would not talk in his later years about the Algerian stuff.
yeah,
it
that's
was-
a nightmare.
It was like he was like much more about like, prison liberation stuff. And so it was probably like, as they say, like out of vogue. They'd be like, oh yeah, I was an oppressor in Algeria or whatever, but also like maybe he was
right.
fucked up from it and didn't want to talk about it.
Or maybe he's yeah, exactly.
But
embarrassed about the definition.
Right around that time, though, it was the time, 77, when he says, "I've seen the Parisian and like they have no future." There's multiple allusions to that, and it's the same time where God Save the Queen's coming out with Johnny Rotten saying no future. Andreas Baader fucking, doing crazy shit in Germany. And
I've seen the future, Captain. There are no flags.
And yeah, it seemed like everybody was going like, it was all these like former bohemians in Europe and like the West and America going like, oh yeah, we just don't like anything that is a power structure. Baader Meinhof got a fucking an eyeful real quick when they went to Palestine, and they had all these women with them, with their huge hairy bushes or whatever, And then those guys were like, oh, and they were just like, oh yeah, we don't gel, like, and they separate,
no gel.
But at first, they were thinking
Put
like,
gel in there.
at first they were thinking like, oh yeah, we're all brothers in revolution, and they were like,
Yeah,
maybe you, bro.
And the RAF was getting help from the Stasi in East Germany, and then obviously eventually they would have been like, "Oh,
We're not
fucking
You suck.
you're way more Nazi than our government. What the fuck are we talking about?" I saw a great thing with a former member of the RAF was saying like, if you asked anybody in the RAF like, "Are you for the death penalty?" we all would have said no. But we killed people.
We kill people.
Yeah.
Well, that's because they,
if innocents get caught up in it, we'd be like, oh, well, let's not take it there. But if it happened, we'd be like,
well, that's the only language these people understand.
yeah,
It's it's a cognitive dissonance, and it's a reframing that people will always do to fit their own narrative. But it's also one of those things where I think most of us believe that it is not the state's job to kill people.
No, because they're doing that in our name.
right, yes,
Because there's enough killing that happens independent of the state, and the state is so often wrong. Sure, the death penalty is a perfect punishment to a crime, but the system that doles out justice is imperfect.
yes, and also equally as much is an informally organized paramilitary organization.
Oftentimes the function of the state is to have the monopoly on violence, but not on death.
True.
Killing killers doesn't make you better than them.
Yeah.
Or solve the problem.
No, but if you are not the state, you inherently.
I really do empathize with a lot of
I see
the terrorist thing where it's the people that would be doing the assassinations and the shootings and stuff in the IRA, they would be like, I would just tell myself I am not killing a person, I am killing a uniform. And I would have to.
Right.
That's what the uniforms say to everybody else.
But also, yeah, that's what your government is going to tell you, is that you're not killing a person. But you're always killing a person, of course. But I know that if there's...
This is why they make you wear uniforms.
If there is an incredibly oppressive system that you can liberate yourself from through revolutionary violence, of course you're going to say that. You're going to say, oh, yeah, well, you're all in on it. It's not a few bad apples. It's a whole bunch of bad apples.
Being an apple is bad. Why'd you choose to be an apple?
Eve.
You stupid bitch.
But yeah, it's
there's a lot more to unpack with this.
Right.
And we should.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just
it's really good.
It's highly complicated.
Yes.
The class stuff, you don't ever really think about France going through all the things that Italy and Germany and all that went through, but
well, the French Revolution was kind of a mess too.
It's like, it seems like
the idea of the French Resistance is something. Well, which one are you talking about?
Right.
You have to specify the time period. The French Resistance is, people talk about French were fucking, they rolled on their back, whatever bullshit they say.
No, they just had an outdated military.
Yeah, dude. The French were an empire. The French people have always, dude. People talk shit on French are fucking assholes. When the idea of the French Resistance or the French Revolution is something that is just so iconic that you have to respect it, and it's something to talk about all the time. And you have to, and it's so iconic that when you say it, you have to be, which one are you talking about?
Right.
It's happened so many times.
Yeah, and every time I bring it up...
When was the last time they put their leaders' heads on fucking spikes?
Every time I bring it up that the French and the Belgians, etc., had like horrors in the Congo and everything. I'm like, I know that they're way more aware of it than we are.
Yeah.
They are, and they're reckoning with it. So,
but that was they were the last times in the Western world where they fucking chopped their leaders' heads off. So kudos to you, Jacques. Pretty nice.
Yeah. I'm gonna throw some shit up on the Instagram of there's a thing of all of the different disguises. And
Cool, nice.
it is
nice.
literally like Where's Waldo level.
Guess who?
Nice.
The thing where you're going like, oh, that's obviously him again. But
oh, is that him?
Does your
it's-
man have a beard?
it's just moving mustaches, beards, glasses,
That's
wigs.
great. I love that.
Wigs?
So
There's
much
a mustache for eyebrows.
But
Merkins.
yeah, I mean, this is, the John Dillinger of France, and
Cool.
it's international. It's almost to the level of the Jackal, I would say. Pretty much. I don't know. I don't know how this guy is not way more fucking well known. It's an incredible fucking story.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved it, and I love sharing it with you boys.
And I love hearing
thank
it,
you.
and I love receiving it, and love that you delivered it.
I'm gonna say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
My name is Aaron Pita.
Mapper so.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Scarpins Avenue.